Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of Speak That Talks. As always, I'm so excited to go live on a Thursday evening, and I hope and pray that you really get something out of today's conversation. I'm joined by a very special guest who I'll introduce soon. So, in the meantime, go ahead and grab your favorite beverage, grab your notepad. Consider hosting a watch party because we are about to go live in 30 seconds. As I say every week, that time goes by so quickly. Thank you all for tuning in to the November 19th edition of Speak That Talks. As always, it is such an honor and so much fun going live. So, if you're watching from a page, whether it's my personal page or the guest speakers page, I ask that you go to the Speak That Movement page. Meet us right there. The Speak That Movement page on Facebook and or YouTube. That's where you can come into the conversation, add your thoughts, add your comments, and ask any questions because this is a live, interactive, unscripted, unfiltered, and uncensored conversation. So, for those of you who do not know, my name is Tiara M. Tucker, and I am the founder and CEO of Tiara PR Network LLC, as well as Speak That Movement. And I am also the creator, producer, and host of Speak That Talks. So I'm just so excited to say that this is the 29th week of Speak That Talks. So what does that mean? That means back on May 7th of 2020, I just wanted to pause. There was so much going on in the world, from social injustices to COVID-19. So I just wanted to pause and just go live and just talk to people virtually and interact with people. So that one day on May 7th has now led to 29 weeks of a Thursday conversation. So thank you to everybody that's been tuning in since the beginning. Thank you to the people who are tuning in today for the first time. So this is all about us. Let's virtually connect and socialize. Again, go to the Speak That Movement page, share your name, share your city in the comments. Let us know who's out there watching. And to learn more about Tiara PR Network, Speak That Movement, or Speak That Talks, feel free to go to my website, which is tiaraprnetwork.com. So again, shout out to everybody out there. Hello, Miss Michelle MacArthur. Always so great to see you. Happy Thursday to you too. And shout out to Plano, Texas. So I'm living in the Dallas area. So shout out to everybody representing Texas today and everybody representing my hometown and my home state of Illinois. I see you all out there. So without further ado, I am so excited. I'm always excited, but I'm really excited for real because there's a special guest today. So for the past few weeks, so during the month of November, this series has been called Women in Business. So I brought together some amazing women in business so that we can empower, uplift, connect, equip, educate, inspire, motivate, you name it, other women. And not just women, because there were men on. We always welcome the men. So the first week, I had Miss Alicia Houston representing California on. So the first Thursday in November, we talked about just women in business, and she really shed a lot of light on some great things. We also were awaiting the presidential election conversation. So I had Karen J. Wilson on with me too. And then the next week, which was last week, I had Miss Kay Gravesand on, and we talked about her business and just a lot of great tips for people who are in their career entrepreneurs, people who are thinking about a new career, whatever it might be. We really had a great conversation last week. So make sure you check out those past videos on the Speak That Movement page. But the reason why I'm smiling big for today is I have another special guest speaker. Today's guest speaker is out of Florida. So the Orlando, Florida area. So shout out to everybody in Florida. And her name is Miss Sheryl Mays. So I'm really looking forward to our conversation. As you can see here, this is the third week of the Women in Business Speaker Series. And Miss Sheryl Mays is about to just have an amazing conversation. So make sure you tune in, invite some more people. So without further ado, welcome to the Speak That Talks platform, Miss Sheryl Mays.
Hey, I am so excited to be here.
I am so excited that you're here. So, how are you feeling right now?
I am doing great. This is what's so appropriate about being on this particular day, November the 19th, because this is National Women's Entrepreneur Day. So I'm very, very excited to be a representative of women in business and to be able to just, talk about the importance of what we're doing in our communities, in the business realm, and just the opportunities that we still have available that we haven't even touched on. So there's just so much opportunity out there, even during this time of disruption.
Yes.
There is still a lot of opportunity out there. And so I'm excited to be here with you today to be a part of your series. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And shout out to all of the women in business, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're in your career, whether you're retired, and maybe you're young and you're not even working. Enjoy that time while you can, okay? Maybe you're transitioning, whatever it may be. What was that?
Because they got a lot of years to put in.
Yes. Or maybe you're not working at all. Maybe you're a real housewife of a city. Kudos to you too, because
that's work.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So, Sheryl, tell us more about you. For the people that don't know, for the people that do know, reintroduce yourself to those people. Who is Sheryl Mays?
Absolutely. I am, it's interesting when you ask who you are, because people automatically go to what they do as a representation of who they are. So I'm going to segue to I'm going to hold that off for a minute. And I'm a mother. I'm a daughter. So I am a caregiver for my mother. I am soon to be a glamma. So not a grandma, but a glamma. We have to make that distinction. But I am also a person that has a passion for getting people to move beyond their circumstances, to get people to see that there is an opportunity for you in whatever realm you are thinking about, whatever thoughts that you're having of those one days, right? Because we always go one day. Mm-hmm. Right. So what does that one day look like? So those people that are looking at that one day opportunity, and just to help them get over that threshold and say, you know what, that one day is today. Mm. Today is that one day. So I have a passion for helping people excel, rather it be in leadership, and leadership could be in business. It could be in your ministry. It could be in your home. I believe everybody is a leader in some capacity. And so it's getting people to be able to operate on purpose and be intentional, to be intentional about what it is that you want to do, and to be able to say, this is what I want to do. Because sometimes we don't distinguish what we want to do. And we don't throw it out there. And you got to get it out. You got to give it to the universe. You got to give it out there, and let whatever you believe to be this force, this life force, rather it be God, rather it be the universe, rather it be, some higher being. You have to put it out there and just watch them work. Yeah. So that's who I am. Now, what do I do? I am I'm a corporate trainer. So I have a business. My business is truly called Rise and Shine. It's a consulting firm, and I'm a corporate trainer. I am also a success coach, a business coach. I'm also a speaker and an author, and I host 2 on-air shows. One where I speak with authors. It's called the Authors Lounge. So authors come on and they share their story behind the story, like what made them want to put this piece of work into a person's hands. And then I'm a co-host, and I have a great co-host with me on a show called Power Up, Maximize Your Potential, where we literally interview, we bring people to viewers that they're out there doing something innovative and transformational. So it kind of takes them out of the mainstream thinking and gives them the ability to use what I call this third lens, where you are seeing things from such a different angle that people have to take pause and go, wait a second. That is so unbelievably cool, right? And it's nothing like I've heard or seen before. So that's what gets my blood boiling. And that's what really gets me to wake up every morning and go, today is a great day.
Yes. Wow. Well, again, welcome and thank you for being a part of Speak That Talks today. And kudos and congratulations to you. I mean, I'm curious to know what your calendar looks like, because you are doing it and doing it well, by the way.
Thank you. We're given so many opportunities, and I always talk about vibrational energy, right? And when you have a positive vibrational energy and you wake up and you're feeling good about the day, you're setting yourself up mentally to be able to have some reason to celebrate at the end of the day, because I believe at the end of the day, there is something that you should be able to celebrate. Then you have the ability to have some clarity and focus. And then you have the ability to opportunities just come to you. And it's so interesting, because when people say, you have these people that call them slashers, right? I do this and I do this and I do this. And so, you're like this slasher job person. But, if it's an extension of what you're doing and who you are, then that's the space that you're supposed to be in. Yeah. A lot of times we use what I call is natural math, right? Where you go 1 + 1 = 2. Mm-hmm. And I like to share with people that we have to use a supernatural math where 1 + 1 = 10. And you have no idea how it happened. You have no idea where it came from, but you're using God math. Yeah. And that, we just don't understand, because it's beyond our understanding as to how these things happen. But, that's how I live my life, in that math zone.
That's pretty neat. I've never heard anybody say it like that. 1 + 1 = 10.
That's supernatural math.
Well, tell us, Sheryl. So again, you have some amazing things going on right now. Author, speaker, you have your own business endeavors, just so many amazing things. How did you get to where you are right now? Like on November 19th, how did you get here where you're like, this is what I love, my purpose, my passion, my calling. I want to focus on this. How did you get there?
It was a journey. It truly was a journey. It was a mind shifting that needed to take place. Sometimes, and for me, I allowed myself to be limited by my dreams. In other words, I wasn't dreaming big enough, because I was dreaming about things I could make happen. And so when you're not intimidated by the size of your dreams, then you see that there is so much more out there for you. And so my journey consisted of, I've been I worked in corporate, and I've been blessed to be able to work in 3 areas where my heartstrings are, and that's children, animals, and education. I've never worked in retail. I've never worked, in fields other than that. And so I've spent a lot of time in nonprofit. So I've raised a lot of money for nonprofits. I have I got 2 animals around here that you'll probably hear at some point when they're like, okay, you're supposed to be playing with us now. And then I spent 10 years in education. And so for those 10 years, I was a VP of admissions, and I traveled the country training employees and training them on not only the functionality of their job, but how to become leaders and how to establish a leader's mindset and how to be able to lead teams and, how to build teams and high performing teams, cohesive teams. And so in 2014, we have this time in our lives when you have an opportunity, and I call it an opportunity because a door closes. And so you can look at it and go, well, this door closed, so now I'm stuck. Or you can look at it and go, well, this door closed because I have another opportunity. And had that door not closed, I would not have taken this opportunity that was meant for me. And so I say sometimes you're pushed into your destiny.
Yes.
And so I had the opportunity after a divorce, right, to where, it was just, again, a total mental shift. And I said, after that experience of being 10 years in corporate, doing the thing that I love, that's where I found my passion for training and truly getting people to see beyond their circumstances. And 2014 came and that ended for me. And so I was at the point then where I was like, okay, so what do I do now? Mm-hmm. Because then I was defining myself by what I did, not by who I was, but by what I did. And so when I no longer did that, then it became, who am I? So I wandered the wilderness. For like 3-4 years, I went from, I went back to nonprofit. Mm-hmm. I went back to, corporate. I just kind of, again, just kind of floated through until something said, you know what, you're waking up every morning, mm-hmm. but you're not in a good place mentally. You're not in a good place in your heart. And you're just going through the motions. And so that one day that I talked about before, I decided in 2018 that my one day was going to be that day. And so I started writing a book because that was something that was on my bucket list. And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to write a book. And I wanted to write about something that was important to me. And so it was also therapeutic for me because it allowed me to look beyond my circumstances and move beyond my fear and, take that walk of faith and go, okay, this is what you say I'm supposed to be doing. I'm going to use your math.
Yeah. The math.
Exactly. I'm going to use that math and I'm just going to go out there and, I know you got me. And so right here, right behind me, that's the book. It's Silencing the Chatter Monsters, Move Beyond Your Fear. Because, oftentimes, especially as women, we have to do that. We have to silence the chatter because we're looking for approval. We're looking for the go ahead. We're looking for our family to support us, to buy all of our products. We're looking for our friends to buy all of our stuff. And sometimes when we don't get that and all we hear is, who do you think you are? Why do you think you can? Play it safe. We're hearing all of this negative chatter. And you hear it so much that it starts to penetrate inside you. And so you start to doubt yourself. And you start to doubt your future. And you start to doubt that the possibilities of what you can accomplish are still available. But when you silence it, when you learn how to silence the chatter, and you start to go, wait a second, that I'm not meant to be in the box. I'm supposed to leave room for abundance. Yeah. And I can't do that if I'm in a box. And so when you silence it, then you end up with clarity. You end up with focus. And in the book, what is so unique about it is that the individual that is going through this meets people that actually share with her rules that they used when they were having the silence, when they were having the chatter issues. So they are successful business individuals and they shared their stories with me. And at the end of each encounter, they leave with this traveler the rules that they use to silence their chatter. So if you meet Rocky, Rocky says, everyone doesn't start on the 80-yard line, right? And that's okay. Because I'm telling you, coming out the gate, I'm like, look, I've been a trainer for 15 plus years. You all should be breaking down my door to have me come into your company and train your people. And I'm listening to crickets. And I'm like, well, wait a second, what's going on? And so I had to put in the work.
Yeah.
Right? I had to put in the work, build relationships, and so I realized that that's okay that you don't start on the 80-yard line.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
Or you'll hear Andrea say, regardless as to what happens, I still rise.
Yeah.
So every day you still get up, you still grind, you still, do these things that you need to do to move yourself ahead.
Yeah.
And so, when you have the ability to do that, then you can, operate within what I call disciplines of success.
Good.
And these are habits that you start to develop that will allow you to continue to move forward and to accomplish those goals and release that champion, because there's a champion in each of us waiting to get off the bench.
That's right. Well, thank you so much for that powerful journey. Thank you for walking us through that journey. And we have some more topics that we're going to talk about today. And I'm already like pumped up because we don't even have to have a hot topic today, because I can already tell that, just your journey, I can pull so many questions out of that. So, wow. What I really loved about that is the supernatural piece, that it doesn't matter where you were, you can start, anywhere. The mindset, which we're going to talk about today, that mindset shift is so important. And even your book, like, we'll talk about this a little later, but I just want you to tell people, what's the title of your book again?
Silencing the Chatter Monsters, Move Beyond Your Fear.
Okay. So it's what?
It's available on Amazon. It's available at Barnes and Noble, and it's available on Dreamspire Books.
Okay. So I am going to buy that book, and I want to bless somebody else with the book too. So if you're out there and you would like a copy of the book, on behalf of Tiara PR Network, I'm going to bless you with the book. All I need you to do is be the first person in the comments on the Speak That Movement page and say, I want the book. And I'm going to bless you with the book, and I'm going to have a book too. And
give someone else a book. So if you get two people that want to be blessed with the book, I'm going to throw in a book.
Today's your lucky day. So I want to pull in this comment from Ayana Smith. Thanks for joining, Ayana. She says, writing is very therapeutic. One of the reasons why I wrote my book. So maybe Ayana and Sheryl, I'm all about connecting people. Ayana, maybe you can be a guest on Sheryl's show, because she's all about highlighting authors. And then you and I can talk, and maybe you can be a guest in 2021 on this show. So tell us, Ayana, the title of your book in the comments. And Ayana wants a book. So she's going to be one person that we'll give a book to. And Michelle wants a book. So we're going to give Michelle a book too.
There you go.
Yes. So Sheryl, let's get to it. Let's talk about the hot topics for today. So again, those of you who are just now tuning in, this is a weekly series that I've hosted during the month of November, and it's called Women in Business. So for the past few weeks, I've had a different special guest speaker from California to Ohio. Now we're working our way into Florida with Miss Sheryl. So tell us, how do you define a woman in business? What's your definition of a woman in business?
A woman in business is, when we think about women in business, we think about a woman that has a brick and mortar, or she's got an online. But when you look at the statistics, and I love statistics, I love data. That's part of my training. It's part of my how I think. We have more than 12 million owned businesses by women. So that's every 3 out of 4 businesses are owned by women. And so this can be a mom. It can be somebody that still has a 9-to-5, that, that midnight entrepreneur or that weekend entrepreneur. It's interesting when you look at how people classify women in business. When you think about it, right now, there are more than 9 million people that are employed by women in business. So if a woman is out there thinking, you know what, I am a great hair braider, I do micro braids, I one of the things that one of the Dreamspire books that I'm a host on this show, we're part of what's called Genius is Common.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a movement, and it talks about what your genius is. So if you are a micro braider, then that is your genius, and you in that point can start your business. If you are a person that matches people up with their wardrobe, you can turn that into a business, because we have so many image consultants, right? If you are a woman and you're looking at helping people get organized, there are so many opportunities out there for women that are in business. So you don't have to be an LLC to be considered a woman in business. Now, it would be good if you were, so that you can legitimate yourself, and you can have, you get your bank account so that you can legitimize yourself, because that's what you really want to be. So for me, women in business are women that are empowering themselves to be able to move forward with that dream, whether it was built out of need or whether it's built out of creativity. You have the ability to be able to do that, and then to be able to employ others. So rather it is, multi-level marketing, and, you have the ability to help someone else to be able to generate income, so that they have things that they can do, whether it be disposable income or additional income in the household. So, women in business for me is just critical, and especially women of color. Because women of color now make up probably about 70% of the businesses. So people are literally looking at women and going, yeah, it's time. It has been time, but now even more so today, because what are we leaving as a legacy for our young women that are looking at us and going, can I, should I, what happens if I fail? Mm-hmm. What happens if I fall? And for them to see us fall and get back up, then that tells them that, yeah, you can do this. Everybody's not going to hit the ceiling, everybody's not going to soar, but as long as you continue to move forward, that's what's important. So, that's a really long answer to, my definition of women in business. So I think it's any woman that decides today is the day.
Yeah.
A lot of times I think what happens too is you have to get yourself as a coach. If you're not sure about what that road looks like or how you can even accomplish the road, talk to someone that can coach you.
Yeah, no, that's good. And also, when I think about women in business, I love your definition. I also think about women that are just in the business space, right? There are women that aren't entrepreneurs. They may just work a job, they may work a corporate America job, a retail job, a sales job, but they're business women, right? They have the mindset or things like that. So any other thoughts before we move on to the next hot topic about women in business? Great thoughts on that.
To your point, regardless as to what you do, even if you're a mom, literally, think about being a mom. You're accounting, you're doing inventory, you're doing negotiations, you're doing conflict resolution. Yes. You are doing
maid service, cleaning service.
All of that, right? All of that. So, don't discount what you're doing. Yes. If you are a cashier in a grocery store, don't discount what you're doing. We all have to operate with an excellence, right? Because then that teaches us how we can literally move ahead. And it teaches people that are watching us, because you never know who's watching. You never know who's watching you. So it gives them the ability to go, wow, look at that. That's amazing. Yeah. It's so funny that sometimes, you ask your kids, what do you do? And they go, I don't know. But that's the time for you to stop and go, let me explain to you what I do. So because it gives them ideas about what they can do. Instead of just going, yeah, I know you guys leave the house in the morning and you come back in the evening, there's food in the cupboard. That's what you guys, I know what you guys do. You just bring home money and food and pay for everything. But, stop and help them understand what you do so that they can then decide, what they can do. Oftentimes, I work with a lot with organizations, and a lot of them are youth organizations, and it's helping them see beyond the mainstream jobs. Mm-hmm. So what happens if you're not a lawyer, a doctor, a police officer, a fireman, those typical jobs? There are people in the back office. There are people that are accounting. There are the support staffs. Things can't happen without those people. Yeah. So being able to share what what you do allows them to know that there's so many more opportunities out there that they probably never even heard of.
Yeah, that's good. Yes. So thank you for that. I asked all of the speakers this month to share their thoughts on women in business. So thank you for that one. And if you all want to hear what the other women had to say, just go to the Speak That Movement page on Facebook or YouTube to check out those previous videos. And Ayana, the name of her book is My Journey Through Poems. It's available on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, Kankakee Public Library, Edwardsville Public Library, but Bonus Public Library. So shout out to you, Ayana, and I'll make sure you and Sheryl are connected. Okay.
Absolutely. Congratulations. Yes, I love poets because I can't do a poem for my life. So I love poets.
That's right. And everybody else out there, if you have a business, if you have a nonprofit, if you have a book, if you have a dream, put it in the comments. Let's bless it today, right? Put it in the comments. So let's move on to our next hot topic. So this is something where I'm looking forward to your thoughts on this because this is your lane, okay? So I want you to share with us your thoughts on leadership.
Oh my gosh, how much time do we have?
So I'm gonna give you some time here because we do have an hour show. So it's 8:35 Central Time. The show comes at 9, and we have a few more hot topics. But how about this? Take your time. We have a few more hot topics. And if you have more to say, you have to promise me that you'll come back in 2021.
I will do that. I will do that.
Right.
I will do that.
There you go. Leadership.
Wow. Leadership it's one of those pieces where, you always ask the question, are leaders born or are they made? And so I believe it's both, right? You have to have something that's innate in you that allows you to operate when things get tough. It allows you to operate when you are up against the odds of yourself. It allows you to operate when you're just not sure on what you're doing, and that's okay. So leadership it's a role that we not only have the ability to do, but it's who you can be. So you can be a leader and not be in a leadership position. So you don't have to have the title of CEO or VP or senior manager. You can be Amy Smith. You can be, Joe Jones, and you can still be a leader. As long as you have four things, and this is why I'll make it very concise. Number one, you have to be a values-based leader. So what does that mean? Is that you have to be self-aware. You have to understand that what's important for others is that you operate within your core values. And so, we look at things that, corporations have core values, right? And we go integrity, accountability. And so we memorize those and we operate within those. But when it comes to our personal selves, we don't necessarily share what our core values are. And that's what helps people relate to you when they know who you are and what you stand for. The second piece is you have to have just true self-confidence, and you have to know that you don't know everything, and that's okay. You don't have to know everything, but you do have to be able to have the capacity to accept feedback. To be able to accept the feedback in a way that it allows you to improve. So every day our goal is to get better. And so as a leader, you need to be able to have that true self-confidence. And then you have to have balance and perspective. You got to see things from other viewpoints, and not always say, you know what, this is the way it's supposed to be. This is what I said. I'm the one that makes the decisions. So you need to be able to look at things from other angles. And I share with people a formula, and I'll share it very quickly, and it's called E plus R equals O. So it's our events plus our responses equal our outcome. And so when you realize that you don't have control over the events, things that happen to us, you don't necessarily have control over those, but you have control over how you respond to those. So that's what you have control over. And then that's what changes the outcome. So when you're operating in that mindset, then you do realize there are things that you can control, and it has a lot to do with who you are. And then the last principle is genuine humility, is just to know that, you got to stay grounded. You just have to stay grounded. Now, we fall off course, right? Because we're human beings. And so we go off course. But when you think about that self-awareness component, when you are operating within your core values, then you can fall off course, but you can get back on course and maintain that journey true north.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're looking at leadership, it's to be a servant leader. Yeah. So you're operating on behalf of others, and then they in turn operate to your benefit. So there's that joint, that cohesiveness between the two. So that's my short definition.
Yeah, no, that's nice. I didn't know you were going to be taking me to school today, Sheryl. I've learned about supernatural math. 1 + 1 = 10. I have an equation, E plus R equals O. Thank you for taking us to school today.
You're welcome.
But that's really good. Like, so phenomenal. And we have some folks responding. So true. People that love what you just said. Yes to the servant leader. People that like the E plus R equals O. Shout out Janice Farrell watching from Texas. Shout out to everybody else out there. Lanita, Dre, I see you out there representing Black in Business podcast, and so many other people. Shout out to everybody out there on the personal Facebook page. I see you all out there. Thank you. Come on over to the Speak That Movement page so that we can bring you into the conversation.
There you go.
Yeah, so let's talk about another hot topic. I know we can go on with these hot topics, so we're just giving you all an appetizer today. This is an appetizer. But if you have any questions, we'll make time. We'll go over time because I want to make sure that while you're blessed with this amazing guest speaker, that you can ask any questions that might be on your mind, because the point of this series is to help people finish the year strong and live their best lives and reach their fullest potential. And Ayana said that you need to have that on a shirt, by the way. So I'm just saying that might be another stream of income for you, like math. So let's talk about something that I think is a really good one. And I know this is something that you have studied, you have lived. This is something that you speak on around the nation. Talk to us about mindset.
That is one of my favorite topics, because, there's nothing we can do. There is nothing we can do unless we are literally invested. Right. And that means invested in your well-being. And so when you talk about mindset, oftentimes people talk about mindfulness, and, we can talk about gratitude and putting you in a good space in order for you to be able to operate, as we talked about initially, right? When you're operating intentionally and deliberately and truly for your purpose. And oftentimes it's our mindsets that hinder us from moving forward. So again, right, when you want to move beyond your fear, what are you doing mentally to help yourself get there? And so, when you think about what is your morning routine, we can start there, right? What is your morning routine? So for me, I wake up in the morning and I spend the first 15 minutes going through my morning ritual, as you want to say. And so I spend time in gratitude on the things that I am grateful for. And, people write them down. I recite them just so that I can hear them, because the words that you speak are so powerful, because if you hear it, then you can believe it. Oftentimes, we kind of internally say it, but you have to speak it. You have to literally speak it, get it out there so that you hear it. And so, what are those things that you're grateful for? And then take a moment and have that moment of devotion. Where you are literally, for me, it's having that conversation with God where I'm listening and I'm saying, okay, I'm ready for today. I know, whatever happens, I know you got me. Let's have that conversation because I know you got me, whatever happens. And then it's literally to go through your affirmations. What does that affirmation sound like? And here's the thing about affirmations is that you can say it, but when you say your name with the affirmation, it changes. So I'm all about changing the game.
Yeah.
So, and this is one of the things that really shifted my mindset as I was sharing my journey earlier. And I was going through a period where I was just literally, I didn't know how I was going to get through. And so my one day came, right? When we're looking for that one day. And I saw this quote because I love motivational quotes, motivational videos. And this quote is by Layla Delilah. And it said, when she remembered who she was, the game changed. And so, if you say that, and you have to repeat it a couple of times, because at first you just kind of say it and you go, yeah, if she remembered who she was, the game changed. But when you say it and you say it and it starts to, it starts to penetrate through you, go, wait a second. What is that literally saying to me? And if you can say that and you start to feel something shifting, you start to feel a shift and you start to, your mindset starts to shift and the words that you speak start to change. Then your actions start to change. And so for me, mindset is one of those things that allows you to move beyond your circumstances. It allows you to move beyond your fear. It allows you to take that leap of faith. And it allows you to go, I am not going to be limited by what people say. And I'm going to allow my dreams to be big. I'm going to allow them to be so huge that there's no way I can possibly think I'm going to accomplish them, but that's okay because that's where the new supernatural math comes in.
That's right.
Right. So
1 + 1 = 10 math.
There you go. You got it, girl. So that's where, that's the importance of mind shifting. And it's also the importance of speaking it, because when you start to shift your mind, again, right, your words shift, your actions shift. Now your results start to shift. And when you start to see in your results shift, then you start going, wait a second, now this thing is working. I wasn't really sure about what she was talking about, but I now start to see it. And so now we're moving into transformation. Because now you're experiencing a transformation. And, when you experience this transformation, there's nothing that you can possibly not do unless you tell yourself it's not going to happen. I'm not going to do it. And that's typically, that's you again, right? Reverting back to who you are. But when you talk about disciplines of habit, you have to think about this. We operate in biorhythms. So we have a mental biorhythm, we have an intellectual biorhythm, and we have a physical biorhythm. So this is why people say it takes 21 days to have a habit, right? Because our biorhythms operate like that. So our emotional biorhythm, it takes 23 days for change. Our intellectual one, it takes 25 days for change. And our physical one, it takes 28 days for change. So here we're talking about 3, 6, 9 weeks.
Right? More than math, Sheryl. I'm trying to stay with you.
So when you're talking about, when you're talking about that transformation and establishing good habits, that's what it takes. This is why people quit programs. because they don't give themselves enough time to be able to allow the program to work. This is why I don't offer programs at Rise and Shine. We offer experiences. Mm. Experiences are different. Mm-hmm. You know, so it starts with how you think about things. You know, you think about what separates super achievers from everyday people. There's only 3 things that separates them.
What's that?
Those have clarity, they have focus, they take 100% responsibility for their results, and they have disciplines of success. Those are 3 things that separates them from an everyday person. And so this is how you operate. So when you change the way you think, you change the way you operate. And then we have the ability to accomplish our goals. And then we look now for sustainability, right? So now how do we sustain these results? Because that's the important piece. It's great to have something happen, but then how does it continue? Yeah. And oftentimes that's where people have issues, is that they just can't figure out how do I keep it going? Right? How do I keep it going?
Wow. And tell us, and I know we're about to go into the next segment, but how do people keep it going?
You find yourself an accountability partner. You find yourself a coach. But an accountability partner, this is what accountability partner does. Not only do you tell this person, you know, I want to, let's just throw it out there, I want to lose 20 pounds. Because that's just usually what people say, right? I want to lose 20 pounds. That doesn't work. I want to lose 20 pounds by a certain time. So you have to be very specific. I want to lose 20 pounds by January 15th. Now, here's the critical part, is you have to now attach a consequence to it. If I don't, then what are the repercussions behind it? Right? So if I just tell myself I want to lose 20 pounds and it doesn't happen, who cares? Right? Yeah. But if I tell you I want to lose 20 pounds by January the 15th, and if I don't, then this is what I want you to do. And you give that to your accountability partner. I've had people that have said, they call it the non-gift, right? Where it is, if I don't do this, then I'm going to write a check for $250 to the nonprofit that I just do not care too much about. Right?
Wow.
You know, and so I give you, Tiara, I give you that check. So when January the 15th rolls around and I don't do it, you cash that check. So how does that change my actions? I don't want you to cash that check. Right?
Yeah.
I am going to lose that weight and you're going to give me that check back.
You know, that's really, really profound, Sheryl, because oftentimes we hear people talk about reward yourself, but I don't think I've ever heard anyone say, what is your consequence if you don't do it? So that's good. So I want to give some shout outs real quick. We have Zandra is with us, Zandra Evans. Hello, Zandra. Everybody loves Zandra. So Zandra, she said mindset is everything. An adjusted mindset with courageous intention equals pure success. She also says, Sheryl, motivate us tonight.
I love Zandra.
And she also said, I choose the ultimate accountability partner, Jesus.
There you go.
Yes. Shout out to some other folks out there. Shout out to Sharon Sykes. That's my cousin. Sharon was actually on one of the very first Speak That Talks over 20 weeks ago. So shout out to you. Michelle MacArthur was on the Speak That Talks. Shout out to everybody else out there that's tuning in. It's because of you that we keep doing this every week. So thank you all. Ayana says it's all about your mindset to achieve your desired goal. So let's shift this conversation some, because you're dropping some nuggets. Like, I literally pulled out my notepad and I'm taking notes. So I don't just bring people on without me listening and taking notes as well. So thank you for all of the nuggets. And I'm not going to forget that you promised you'll be back in 2021. So
you got it. You're coming on my show in December.
All right. That's right. So let's move on. But before we go to the Speak That Speed round, give us just a few minutes of this one, Sheryl. You know, we know what 2020 has been, right? It has been a roller coaster. And I say roller coaster because although there have been a lot of things going on, that feel so bad, there's been a lot of positivity this year, a lot. But at the same time, when I think about women in business and I think about, whether you're a woman, your business is in your household, your business is at the 9 to 5, your business is your entrepreneurship, whatever your business is, right? Let's talk about that mental health space, because with Speak That movement, we are dedicated to focusing on speaking things into existence, which you talked about. Mm-hmm. We are also dedicated to social justice as well as mental health. So give us just a minute or two, and speak to the people right now as we think about going after your dreams, but also focusing on that mental health space.
We're in a time now where mental health has just, it has just been a huge focus for a lot of individuals. I was just reading today, and we were talking about the changes. What changed the game for us during this 2020 that was totally out of our control? And how do we handle that? And some folks just haven't been able to, because people are dealing with depression, dealing with isolation, dealing with remote working, trying to still be a part of a team that is not within your immediate environment. You're dealing with your family issues. We have people that can't connect with their grandparents or their parents. And so there is so much. In addition to all of that, right, we have an increase in alcoholism. We have an increase in domestic violence. We have an increase in child abuse. So all of this stuff is coming on us. And so, that mental health aspect is so very important. And it's about self-care, right? It's about self-care. And oftentimes we haven't been taught how to care for ourselves because we keep going. I think you mentioned it earlier, right? When you're operating, if your tank is empty, then you can't be of service to yourself or to anyone else. So you have to take a moment. I was on a call earlier and we were talking about burnout, where we are, women are, and I say women because that's the call that I was on, but it's people in general. You're at home and you're in your remote working space, but yet you're also trying to you're helping the kids on their online learning. You're trying to be in the moment and in the present when you're on your Zoom calls, but you've got so many other things that are going on. And, we're literally experiencing a high volume of burnout. And so you have to give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to stop. Give yourself permission to be still, and get back into a good place. And oftentimes we're so used to being at the office where you can't walk away for 10 minutes, or you're afraid to leave your computer because, you have to be logged in, or you're afraid to, tell your boss, listen, I just need 15 minutes. I just got to go outside. I got to take a walk. Whatever that thing is that allows you to recenter, that's the moment that you have to give yourself permission to be able to do. And so when you grant yourself that permission, then you find that, you still might need help, and that's okay, because now the technology has done amazing things for us to be able to connect. There's a lot of therapists out there that are now doing telemed, where you can literally, you don't even have to leave the house, but you can talk to a specialist. And that's asking for help is what gets you to that point. And sometimes that's the hardest thing for people to do, is to just raise your hand and say, look, I need help. I need to be able to talk to someone outside of my house that I can share some things with. And maybe they give me some tools. They give me some techniques that will allow me to be able to, recenter, allow me to be able to get through what I'm getting through, because I can talk through it.
Yeah.
When you think about workplaces, right, the most difficult thing in the workplace is conflict resolution. So can you imagine what's happening when you're internally having a conflict?
Yeah.
Conflict is with you. Who do you resolve it with? How do you resolve it? So you need someone to be able to resolve it. So if you have a ministry, a sisterhood, a chapter of, a sorority chapter, or, the lady down the street that you guys meet at the end of the driveway for 10 minutes and, you just talk about something, those things have a tendency to allow your brain to reset because
Yeah.
you walk away. And that's what we need. We need a mental reset sometimes, and we need a visual reset. You cannot be on Zoom for 8 straight hours. Okay.
I've done it and it was like, oh my God, I don't want to see another light in my face.
But just think of the pressures of Zoom though, right? You're staring at people, you're looking at, you're wondering, how am I looking? Do I look interested? Do I look like I'm paying attention? Are they looking at my house? What are all of these things that are going on? And then you're looking at this box at yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a lot of this is what we call Zoom fatigue,
Yeah.
right? Where people are just experiencing, and this is something that we've never had to go through before.
Yeah, that's good. Well, thank you for sharing that. I really wanted us to just take a couple of moments to talk about that mental health space. And shout out to Lanita Evans. Lanita Evans from Illinois is on. She and I have been talking about some things that we want to continue to do in the mental health space. So we'll be in touch with you, Sheryl, because I know that you and there's other women out there who are very passionate about this space. So we're going to empower women and men to just really, not lose sight of the power of focusing on your mental health. So thank you for that. So now, Miss Sheryl, we are at the end of the Speak That Talks.
No,
I know, right? But this is now the beginning of my favorite part. This is time for the Speak That Movement, Speak That Speed round. So at this point of the show, this is where I ask every single guest to give, to offer, to share, and to empower the audience by giving your thoughts on the 4 pillars of Speak That Movement, which are dream it, believe it, speak it, and walk it. So you've already talked a little bit about all of these pillars throughout, but now I want you to key in, and we're going to talk about each pillar. So in as few words as possible. So, and I say that to everybody, okay? In as few words as possible, I want you to speak to all of the women out there. And men, you're listening. This is for you too, but specifically the women. And I want you to empower, motivate, inspire them. Speak life to them, one pillar at a time.
Okay.
Are you okay with that?
I'm good.
Awesome. So we're going to start with Speak That Movement pillar number 1. So Sheryl, share your thoughts with the Speak That Talks platform on what dream it means.
Dream it means, if you can envision it, you might not know the path. You might not know how you're going to get there. That doesn't mean that your dream is less than anybody else's dream. So don't be intimidated by the size of your dream. Keep moving forward and watch God work.
I love it. Speak That Movement pillar number 2. Believe it.
Yeah, blah, 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 right? I have so many things to say. I'm trying to keep it concise. And I'm going to go scriptural here. We don't walk by faith. We don't walk by sight. We walk by faith.
Yeah.
Right. So if you truly believe that, then whatever it is that you are trying to accomplish, it starts first in your heart, because from your heart, then it goes to your head, and from your head, it goes into your hands and your feet. So you feel it, you believe it, then you start moving towards it.
That's good. So I'm going to do something a little different with the next 2. I usually wait until walk it and I give the platform away. But you've been talking about this speak it a little bit throughout today's show. So I'm going to hand you over the Speak That Talks platform, and I'm going to remove myself. And you're a host, so you know how to make this work. So I want you for the next couple of minutes to speak to all of us out there on speak it as well as walk it. So I'm going to step away and you are going to take over as the host of Speak That Talks to speak life to people on your thoughts on speak it and walk it. Take it away.
Awesome. Here's what I want to say is that we are constantly becoming who we are meant to be. So every day we have an opportunity to improve upon what we've done the day before. So when you wake up in the morning, wake up with a mindset of, yes, I can. Speak it, get it out there. Don't internalize it. Don't whisper it. Don't say it to yourself. Tell everybody. Tell them what you want to do. Tell them what you're doing, because then you have the ability to allow them to help you. And you allow the greater being to be able to help you, rather whatever it is you believe in, God, the universe, whatever higher power you believe in. When you speak it, then you have the ability to allow it to happen. And people will come to you. That's just how it is. And then when you start seeing it, then you can walk in it. And then you can show others what they have the ability to accomplish, because people are watching. It doesn't matter how many likes you get. It doesn't matter how many comments you see. People are watching. And when they see you operating on purpose and they see the abundance that's coming to you, then they know that they too have that opportunity. So remember, you are constantly becoming who you are meant to be.
Beautiful. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yes. Wow. Well, you have definitely blessed Speak That Talks this evening. I'm humbly grateful that you joined and you just dropped some nuggets. As Sandra said, you've been dropping some nuggets. So I know people are wondering, I know they're wondering, how can they get in touch with you? How can they follow you? How can they know what you have going on?
Primarily my website. So my website is www.rising-and-shining.com. You can also follow me on Instagram, and it's really simple, Rise and Shine CF. On YouTube, Rise and Shine CF. And then definitely connect with me on LinkedIn, Sheryl Mays. I love to connect with people. I love to hear what's going on in people's lives, because it helps me. You know, people believe trainers and coaches don't need inspiration and motivation, but that's what keeps us going. That's what keeps me going. You know, when I hear inspiring stories, it allows me to go, yeah, it's happening. This is real. And, you know, don't let 2020 get you down, because we made it through.
That's right. And as we close out, can you just offer a few final words for the people out there that are just ready to keep on pushing on until the very end of 2020?
I'll leave you the words of my book: silence the chatter monsters and move beyond your fear, because there is a champion inside of each one of us just waiting to get out there. You know, it's like sitting on the bench, right? And it's that player that's like, coach, let me in, let me in. This champion inside of you is saying, let me in, let me play. So release the champion and watch it work.
Wow. There you have it, everybody. Miss Sheryl Mays represented Orlando, Florida on Speak That Talks this week. Show her some love. I want to see some pumps, some hearts, and every emoji you want to use. Thank you, Sheryl. And I hope that you and your family and your loved ones have an amazing Thanksgiving next week.
Absolutely. And everybody have an amazing holiday. Stay safe. Use your personal judgment. Just do what you feel is right. And let's just all get to 2021, because that's going to be a blowout year.
That's right. We're going to
be on the show.
Yes, and we're going to speak that into existence. 2021 is going to be a blowout year. And as Andre said, we are going to release the champion.
There you go.
Thank you, Sheryl. Be blessed. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. Have an amazing holiday.
All right, there you have it. Another awesome week of Speak That Talks. So I want to thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your comments and your questions. I hope that you all got something out of today's show. I hope that you just are feeling like you're on fire, because you should be. I hope that you all can tune in next week. I know it's Thanksgiving, but it's okay. I'm being consistent. I can't let Thanksgiving stop me from at least going live to just share my thanks with all of you. So next week, it'll be very, 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 very short. I mean, very short. So next week, Thursday, November 26th, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. It'll be a very brief show just to wish you and your loved ones a happy Thanksgiving. I will also be announcing the December 2020 lineup of some even more great speakers. So if you like what you're seeing, thank you so much. Continue to watch, continue to share, continue to host a watch party. Watch the videos that are out there on Speak That Movement and YouTube of previous episodes. And if you all are interested in learning more, again, check out my website. Thank you to everybody out there for tuning in. Be blessed. May God bless you, and may you be a blessing. Thank you for supporting Tiara PR Network, Speak That Movement, and Speak That Talks. Again, have a great Thanksgiving. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.